Proclamation today making February Police Athletic League Month. PAL launched a fundraising effort with a luncheon today in Center City.
Dave Roberts inside with us right now to tell us that the balmy weather may be over.
Yeah, it's going to get cold tonight. Beautiful day today, right?
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Just a wonderful day today. Look at this. Chopper 6 doing a little flying. Look at that cloud cover. Gorgeous. Into the mid-50s. Let's show you the numbers. 55 degrees. That was the high at noontime. We're still waiting for the official numbers. The low 42. Present temperature reading 46. Winds out of the northwest. A good wind at 16 miles an hour. Tonight, going to be brisk and colder. The overnight low 26 degrees. Tomorrow, Friday, brisk and chilly with a high of 40. Early evening rain around the dinner hour, and you folks in the far northern and western suburbs could see a little snow and ice as that precip starts to move in. On Saturday, we're looking for windy clearing with a high of 52 degrees. Again, still in the 50s, but on Sunday, we're back into the 30s, a high of only 34 degrees. Well, this week, we turn an important corner on winter. And tonight's AccuFacts file explains it all. You see, since December 22nd, daylight has been getting longer as the sun gets higher in the sky. However, normal daily temperatures have still been dropping. Why? Well, it's all a matter of radiation balance. Until late January, the Earth's surface is still losing more radiation and warmth than it takes in, even though the amount coming in is increasing. So the average temperatures keep dropping, down to an average high of 37 degrees, an average low of 22. But from here on, the radiation coming in is higher than what's going out, so the warmth builds. Now what happens? First, daylight highs begin rising, then nighttime lows go up. This doesn't mean we won't have more frigid cold, but in the long run, it's slowly getting warmer. Slowly getting warm. We're on our way.
I was going to say something about us not having any major snowfalls, but
don't say
maybe
it.
I
Don't say it.
that.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't
All right. A real honey of an event had folks buzzing at the State House in Trenton today. It was the annual Best of Show Award for honey and honey products from the Garden State. The Honey Queen and the Honey Princess created a buzz, but Wolfgang Kuhn of Jackson savored the sweetest moment. He took the top award for his honey.
How do you come up with the best quality?
How was Ennis Cosby helping the child of another showbiz star prior to his murder? And should Miss Universe lose her crown for gaining 60 pounds? Next AM Live.
Tomorrow at 10 on 6 ABC.
You know by now that Wapner Newman represents families whose baby has been injured due to the birthing process. I'm Bob Newman. One of the questions I'm asked by parents facing this difficult situation is how to provide for the baby's medical cost. The answer is, when seeking a claim for an infant, we project medical costs over the child's entire lifespan. No matter what complications arise, the money will be there to give the care that's needed. If you want help, call me at 1-800-969-4400. At Wapner Newman, we're on your side.
Good day, Uncle. Need a lift?
Nice car, kid. It's my Subaru Outback Sport.
Another Outback.
Same all wheel drive traction as yours. Better gas mileage than the Cherokee Sport.
That's fine, but can she...
Alcorn or RAV4? No problem.
Smart boy. Must run in the family.
Outback Sport. The newest Outback from Subaru.
Incredible twin stories.
Doggone it if y'all ain't identical.
Identical twins separated at birth. Then,
I see the 20s just hanging in the trees.
if a carload of cash fell over, what would you do? Next, Oprah.
Tomorrow at 4 on 6 ABC.
Wall Street panicked about 3:30 this afternoon, and everybody started to sell. The Dow fell 94 points on the day, the heaviest trading day ever in the history of the New York Stock Exchange. All the indicators went south as interest rates blipped upward. The 30-year Treasury bond down a quarter point. Interest, which moves opposite to price, jumped to 6.85%.
It's time now for Health Check. Anita Brickman joins us with more good news in the long, slow struggle against AIDS.
Well, there is word, Lisa, a big step today in the battling AIDS, but a cure is still some distance off. For the first time, researchers have been able to completely eliminate HIV from the blood and semen of a small group of patients, but they haven't been able to eliminate it from the lymph nodes as they had hoped to be able to do by now. Dr. David Ho used a so-called cocktail combining protease inhibitors, antiviral drugs like AZT, and other medications. Ho says it's only the early stages of work, and it's only worked in the early stages of HIV.
There's new optimism, and many patients are benefiting, but not all patients. And we have to be cautious about not blowing this into a cure, and that would clearly be a hype.
What Ho and the other researchers don't know is how long the drugs will be effective and what will happen if patients stop taking them. It is still possible the virus could revive. There will not be any blanket recommendation on mammograms for women between 40 and 50 years of age. A panel of experts working with the National Institutes of Health today concluded that women have to make their own decisions. The panel said there isn't enough evidence that mammograms work well enough in catching cancer for 40-something women. Critics say the experts ignored several recent studies which do show the mammograms are worthwhile. The panel, however, did recommend that health insurers pay for the X-ray screenings. And exercise keeps you fit, right? Even horses need it. So Lyle Knutson began a fitness center for his miniature horses. Knutson's mini horses now limber their legs on treadmills since they are too small to ride for conventional exercise and since the snow in South Dakota is often taller than they are. The horses spend 45 minutes every day on their treadmills. With over 100 horses, this is a major effort. Now, Knutson says that unlike some people, though, his horses really love their workouts and are willing to get on that treadmill for their exercise.
Very good. All right, Anita. Right now, Jim Gardner and the Action News team are standing by with these stories and more. Next at 6, you'll hear a New Jersey teenager confess to the brutal murder of a school teacher. Tonight's installment of Operation 6 Save a Life focuses on the important role filled by volunteer firefighters.
And we'll meet a Montgomery County couple still on their honeymoon after 72 years. All of that next on Action News at 6 with Jim Gardner. Now for Scott Palmer, Dave Roberts, Lisa Thomas-Laurie, the entire Action News team, I'm Mark Howard. Have a good evening.
Closed captioning provided by Bell Atlantic, the heart of communication.
Make the decision to become an organ and tissue donor. Be sure that your family knows your wishes. And remember, share your life, share your decision.
1.9%. Chapman has $10 million in financing at 1.9% on most popular Fords and Mercurys, as low as 0% on Nissans. And you still get a Chapman volume price that's $300 to $800 less than the competition for the same exact model. That's our goal every day. Buy from your nearby Chapman dealership. Chapman Ford, Northeast Philadelphia. Chapman Lincoln Mercury, Springfield, Pennsylvania. Chapman Ford, Wilmington, Delaware. Chapman Nissan, Newcastle, Delaware. And Chapman Ford, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey.
The herd. When one turns, they all turn. Safety in numbers? Not always. When in danger, they can panic. The advantage of thinking for yourself lets you make clear decisions. It sets you apart and keeps you ahead. Mutual funds from American Century. Invest in our thinking.
Kevin Kline, Steve Guttenberg, and Tori Amos on the next Rosie O'Donnell Show. Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Thursday night, police say drunk driving caused a deadly crash in West Philadelphia, and a Good Samaritan covers up a hate crime in the Northeast. But the big story on Action News tonight is the plea of guilty to the charge of murder. And we actually hear part of the courtroom confession in Toms River, New Jersey.
I put my hand over her face, stopped her from screaming.
In a hushed courtroom packed with family members of the victim, 17-year-old Michael Lassane of Berkeley Township pleaded guilty this afternoon to one count of first-degree felony murder. Lassane described how he smothered 45-year-old Kathleen Weinstein of Tinton Falls, a school teacher whose car he hijacked last March as a birthday present to himself. The case drew national attention when it was revealed Weinstein secretly recorded her fruitless pleas to Lassane to spare her life.
I shook her.
Did she move?
No.
At that point, did you realize that she was dead?
Yes.
Did you intend to kill her?
No.
In exchange for the plea, prosecutors have dropped 4 other charges against Lassane, including armed robbery and carjacking.
He did bring about her death. And that would be clear from the evidence and clear from anything that he would have to say from the witness stand So pleading guilty was the right thing.
Now, the conditions of this plea agreement are that Lassane be sentenced to at least 30 years in jail without parole, that the audio tape made by the victim be returned to the family, and that one copy of that tape would be kept by the state in case there are appeals down the road.
The tape will not be played throughout the media. It has been protected for that purpose, and we're pleased that it will maintain protected.
The family of this victim, not to mention her 6-year-old son, will be spared all the consequences that would evolve from a lengthy trial.
Members of the Weinstein family, including the victim's husband, Paul, had no comment. Neither did Lassane's mother, who was also in court. Sentencing is scheduled for February 28th. I'm Nora Mushanek, Channel 6 Action News, Toms River, New Jersey.
In Pottstown, Pennsylvania, they are calling it a case of internet murder. Police say 54-year-old Raymond Stumpf murdered his wife Marlene in their home on Farmington Avenue after his wife received a dozen roses from a man she talked to on the internet. Police say Raymond Stumpf then tried but failed to stab himself to death. Stumpf is known in the Pottstown area as Mr. Telemart because of his role as host of a home shopping show on cable channel 11 in Pottstown. A Philadelphia neighborhood is coping tonight with a brutal display of racial and religious bigotry. Hate crime vandalism doesn't get much worse than this. Action News reporter Matt O'Donnell has the story from the Somerton section of Northeast Philadelphia.
The person who wrote that on our building has a lot to be ashamed of.
It was nearly impossible to pretend like today was just another day at the Student Education Center in Somerton. Outside, vandals had defaced the high school's walls with swastikas and a racial epithet so profane, we won't show it to you. Inside, students and teachers chose to talk instead of ignore.
That's all that they deserve is an apology and turn themselves in.
I don't think anybody should, have the audacity to do something like that.
A portion of this private school's student body is Jewish. That includes Kate Ivanko. She and her family moved to Philadelphia from Moscow 7 years ago to escape the very persecution Kate had to face this morning.
Like, whoever did it should be really ashamed of themselves, and I really have no words to say. It's really disgusting.
Disgusting is the same word used by the school's owner, who is also Jewish.
Racism in any form is disgusting. And had I seen the culprits here this morning, I would have wanted to wring their necks.
Police say what happened here is a very serious crime. It's called ethnic intimidation, a misdemeanor that carries up to 2 years in prison and a $2,500 fine. Other acts of racial hatred have recently hit the Northeast. Vandals twice trashed Congressman Bob Borski's office last year. The second time was in August when swastikas were painted on his walls. The same thing happened to State Senator Hank Salvatore's office. 2 incidents, the latest one in December. Again, the place was vandalized and racist messages were painted. However, police say there doesn't appear to be a link between those incidents and this most recent one in Somerton. Meanwhile, a Good Samaritan donated his time and money this afternoon to paint over the messages of hate. The man said he just doesn't like to see anyone get intimidated. Matt O'Donnell, Channel 6 Action News, Somerton.
More money for social services and a little less money to pay in taxes. That was the thrust of Mayor Rendell's budget address today. Rendell spoke for almost 90 minutes before City Council and a gallery packed with protesters and community groups of virtually every stripe. Rendell proposed his 3rd straight cut in the wage tax, saving a Philadelphia family that makes $30,000 a year $15. At the same time, Rendell's $2.5 billion budget plan includes money to match federal subsidies for 200 more police officers and more money for social services as the city prepares for federal and state welfare cuts. But Rendell seemed confident that Philadelphia is on the right track.